Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a drama from 2022 titled, In Our Prime. At South Korea's most elite high school, attended by the country's top 1%, Han Ji-woo struggles to find his place. Once the brightest student in his modest former school, he now finds himself barely avoiding last place in his class, particularly in math, a subject critical for college admission. Ji-woo's affluent classmates can afford private tutoring and intensive courses, but as a student on financial aid, he cannot. Ji-woo's math instructor, Mr. Kim Gun-ho, cautions him that his current academic performance won't secure him a spot in a reputable college, suggesting that he consider transferring. One evening, Ji-woo's dorm mates provide him with funds to secretly purchase snacks and alcohol for the group. However, on his return, he is apprehended by night guard Lee Hak-sung. The next day, Mr. Kim attempts to have Ji-woo reveal the names of his accomplices, but Ji-woo, valuing loyalty, remains tight-lipped. This earns him the notice of fellow student Park Boram but also results in a temporary expulsion from the dormitories. After class, Ji-woo's roommates offer him money as a token of gratitude, but he refuses, stating that they are friends. The group then contemplates alternative methods for smuggling late-night treats into the dorms. However, they agree that it has been difficult to do so ever since Lee Hak-sung began working as the night guard. Hak-sung is known as the commie officer due to his North Korean defector background. He later visits his doctor who advises him against working as a night guard for health reasons and warns him about the side effects of sleeping pills on his biorhythm. Hak-sung asserts that it's his only employment option as a defector and will continue taking the pills unless the doctor can find him a different job. He then returns to his solitary apartment, where he keeps busy by feeding his turtle, sipping strawberry milk, and solving Sudoku puzzles. The next day, Ji-woo is suspended from the dormitory. Boram mocks him as he leaves, expressing her disappointment in his apparent failure. After a few hours, Ji-woo arrives at his family apartment and tidies up before his mother returns from work. As a hardworking widow, she takes great pride in her son's prestigious uniform. Unable to reveal that he needs somewhere to stay, Ji-woo tells her he's only visiting and must head back to school shortly. Ji-woo encounters Rain on his way back and seeks shelter in the school's deserted lab, where Hak-sung discovers him. Feeling sympathy for Ji-woo's situation, the guard invites him to his office for the night. While Ji-woo sleeps, Hak-sung stumbles upon the challenging math assignment Ji-woo couldn't complete. As soon as daylight breaks, Hak-sung sends Ji-woo on his way. In math class, the boy discovers that Hak-sung has completed his homework for him, and all the answers are accurate. Boram suggests that Ji-woo inform the teacher, but he requests her silence. Ji-woo later expresses gratitude to Hak-sung for his assistance and asks for guidance, but Hak-sung dismisses him. Subsequently, Ji-woo learns that even the personal tutors of his classmates struggle with some of the math problems, highlighting Hak-sung's unique abilities. Despite Ji-woo's persistence in seeking tutoring, Hak-sung remains uninterested. One day, while disposing of garbage, Hak-sung overhears teachers discussing students with uninvolved parents and low self-esteem, including Ji-woo. When Ji-woo pleads for tutoring once more, Hak-sung suggests he transfer schools and avoid wallowing in self-pity. Ji-woo shares his frustration at the lack of opportunities he faces, prompting Hak-sung to finally agree to tutor him in exchange for strawberry milk. The following day, Hak-sung visits his friend Gi-chul, who assisted him in relocating to South Korea due to his role as the North Korean defector support lead in Seoul. The friends enjoy board games and conversation, and when Gi-chul gifts Hak-sung with lamps, Hak-sung insists on paying, not wanting to rely on charity. At night, Hak-sung sets up the lamps in an abandoned laboratory to secretly teach Ji-woo. Ji-woo must adhere to 3 rules. 1. The lessons must remain a secret. 2. Only math-related questions are allowed. And 3. Hak-sung will teach math but does not want to discuss grades or exams. Upon agreeing to adhere to the rules, Ji-woo is presented with an initial task by Hak-sung, determining the area of a triangle. Ji-woo quickly solves it, mentioning that it's a problem typically found in middle school, but Hak-sung proves him wrong by enclosing the triangle within a circle. Feeling deceived, Ji-woo believes the question posed by Hak-sung was incorrect, but Hak-sung's intention is to demonstrate that Ji-woo's problem-solving approach is flawed. It's crucial not only to find the answer but also to comprehend the question being asked. The process of discovering a solution is the essence of mathematics. As Ji-woo grasps the concept, Hak-sung refers to it as epsilon, recalling a memory of his younger self and a friend who were awarded an elegant pen for their scholarly achievements. Epsilon signifies something small, unimportant, or even trivial. After the lesson concludes and Ji-woo still lacks a place to stay, Hak-sung permits him to remain at his residence. Ji-woo learns that Hak-sung enjoys listening to classical music on an antiquated cassette player, leading to a conversation about classical composers, which effectively diverts Ji-woo's inquiries about Hak-sung's history. Since the cassette is worn and produces poor sound quality, Ji-woo opts to play the music on his phone. The superior audio quality captivates Hak-sung and allows him to experience a restful night's sleep for the first time in a long while. In fact, he doesn't wake up until late the following morning, and by the time he awakens, Ji-woo has already departed for his classes. Professor Kim has vital information for his mathematics pupils. They will be competing in the esteemed Pythagoras mathematics contest instead of taking finals, which will serve as their examination. The young students are displeased with this arrangement since they only have 2 months to prepare, but Professor Kim anticipates that they will all secure gold medals. Jiwoo visits Hak-sung daily for mathematics lessons, and Boram starts to observe Jiwoo's frequent purchase of strawberry milk, as if he were hooked on it. One night, Jiwoo encounters a particularly challenging problem that requires a specific technique to solve, but Hak-sung insists that he compute it all by hand. After 3 hours, Jiwoo finally solves it, prompting Hak-sung to share a unique insight. Renowned mathematician Bernhard Riemann computed 38 decimal places of the square root of 2 manually to familiarize himself with the problem-solving process, something that memorizing a formula alone cannot achieve. This approach significantly enhances one's comprehension of mathematics. Hak-sung declines to inform Jiwoo whether his solution is correct or not, because his assignment will be to figure it out independently. That is the role of a mathematician. As the weeks go by, Jiwoo's mathematical abilities continue to grow. One day, he is struck by heartbreaking news. A dear friend and fellow welfare student is relocating to his former school, stating that attending their current school is not worth it. Jiwoo is left pondering his circumstances while Boram attempts to empathize with him. He feels mocked when she claims their situations are similar, despite her affluent background. Their discussion is halted when Boram's mother arrives to pick her up. Once inside the car, Boram's mother chastises her for spending time with a welfare recipient. Though Boram's divorced parents technically put her on welfare, her lack of financial aid makes the comparison unfair. Additionally, her mother scolds her for indulging in piano music and employs Mr. Kim as Boram's illegal private tutor to ensure she focuses on academics. Later, Jiwoo shares his concerns with Hak-sung, contemplating a school transfer. Hak-sung urges him to persevere, emphasizing that success comes from determination rather than intellect alone. He demonstrates this by pointing out Jiwoo's progress in learning problem-solving processes despite some errors in his final answers. Jiwoo's suspension ends that night, allowing him to return to the dorms, but he admits to missing his time with Hak-sung. The following day, Boram presents Jiwoo with strawberry milk and an apologetic note. As he gets sidetracked, she trails him to the hidden lab and uncovers his secret. Grateful to Hak-sung for supporting Jiwoo, she inquires if she can visit occasionally, to which Hak-sung agrees on the condition of secrecy. Boram playfully dubs him Kami officer, puzzling Hak-sung, who despite his North Korean origin, never served in the military. He reveals that he was granted an exemption for unspecified reasons. Soon after, they spot a group of students skulking around campus, but Hak-sung, recalling Jiwoo's prior incident, opts not to intervene. One night, Jiwoo questions Hak-sung about his passion for studying math. Initially, Hak-sung pursued the scholarship for his family's benefit, but he eventually grew to appreciate and love the subject. They invite Boram to join Hak-sung at the piano, where he teaches her a fascinating technique. By associating digits with musical notes, they create a beautiful melody using the number pi. During the subsequent math class, Jiwoo utilizes Hak-sung's logic to correct Mr. Kim's exercise answer about incorrect questions. However, Mr. Kim reprimands him, emphasizing the importance of providing the intended answer, not necessarily the correct one. Jiwoo disagrees, insisting on giving the right answer on the test. As a result, Mr. Kim has Jiwoo stand outside the door for the remainder of the class. Later, Jiwoo informs Mr. Kim that he will not be transferring. In the afternoon, Gi-chul presents Hak-sung with a smartphone during one of his visits, making him easier to locate. Hak-sung excitedly shows Jiwoo the device, and Jiwoo notices him reading lengthy thesis on the small screen. To assist, Jiwoo enlists a classmate to sneak into the computer lab and print the entire document for Hak-sung. The following day is the Pythagoras exam. Jiwoo performs exceptionally well due to Hak-sung's tutoring, while Boram begins confidently, recalling the musical notes. However, she soon becomes overwhelmed and exits the exam room before completing the test. Boram's mother keeps her at home to avoid embarrassment, fabricating a story about a trip to the school. Jiwoo's attempts to contact Boram are met with silence. In the evening, Jiwoo and Hak-sung attend a classical concert for which Boram had provided complimentary tickets, as her family's company as a sponsor. Although Boram does not attend, Hak-sung is deeply moved by the performance and sheds tears. After the concert, Hak-sung invites Jiwoo to dinner at his home, where Jiwoo realizes it is the first time he has seen Hak-sung eat. That night, the Pythagoras test is leaked online, causing problems for the teachers. They must identify the student responsible to avoid being fired by the education board. At the same time, Jiwoo and Hak-sung visit a bookshop for some purchases, where an unfamiliar individual identifies Hak-sung. This person, who also hails from North Korea, refers to Hak-sung as doctor, recalling the days when Hak-sung was an instructor at the university he attended. The man labels Hak-sung as the renowned math prodigy and assumes Jiwoo is his son, leading to an uncomfortable situation. Hak-sung expresses his gratitude for the man's recollection and hastily departs from the store, avoiding Jiwoo's inquiries. Upon returning home, Hak-sung reminisces about the cherished moments he shared with his son, Lee Taeyeon, enjoying meals together, acquiring a turtle, and purchasing strawberry milk as it was Taeyeon's preferred drink. The following day, a significant news story breaks on television. The Riemann hypothesis, a critical mathematical problem, is on the verge of being resolved by a prominent North Korean named Hak-sung, although it is still being reviewed by a panel of experts. Professor Oh on TV recounts his experience participating in a math competition as a child and encountering Hak-sung, who represented North Korea while Oh represented South Korea. Both were gifted an elegant pen by a renowned mathematician, and Oh is kept his to this day. Both Gi-chul and Ji-woo catch the news, but it is Ji-woo who locates Hak-sung first to inquire about the matter. However, Hak-sung becomes irritated and demands Ji-woo never bring up the Riemann hypothesis again. Simultaneously, Mr. Kim faces difficulties due to the test incident, as his reputation is at stake. But when a colleague examines the security footage after hearing rumors from a student, he's relieved. The next day, Mr. Kim contacts Ji-woo to present him with footage that reveals Ji-woo leaving the computer lab while holding several printed pages. Ji-woo attempts to clarify that the situation is unrelated, but he lacks any means to validate his claim. Given the video proof and Ji-woo's sudden improvement in math, nobody trusts him. Mr. Kim then proposes a deal. Ji-woo can keep the accusation private if he agrees to transfer. Unfortunately, rumors about Ji-woo's alleged involvement still reach everyone, and Boram becomes upset, knowing the real story. Gi-chul also faces some challenges. North Korea is furious with South Korea for claiming Hak-sung's accomplishments, particularly since they relate to military encryption. The niche wants Gi-chul to persuade Hak-sung to appear on television and clarify the situation. As Hak-sung's name dominates the headlines, a former co-worker visits him and attempts to convince him to return to North Korea. However, the co-worker's admission that he is seeking forgiveness for himself by bringing Hak-sung back only serves to infuriate Hak-sung further, especially when the topic of his son is raised. Gi-chul visits Hak-sung to apologize for his inability to shield him from the niche, but Hak-sung remains grateful for years of protection. As Hak-sung packs to leave town, Gi-chul gives him the document containing his research, which Hak-sung had tried to discard years before, but Gi-chul had saved because of its value. Just then, Ji-woo arrives, but he chooses to remain outside upon hearing the heated exchange. Hak-sung is furious that his research led to the loss of his son's life and vehemently refuses to display it on television. Once Gi-chul departs, Ji-woo attempts to converse with Hak-sung, but the elder man angrily rebuffs him, denying any bond beyond that of a teacher and pupil. Later, Ji-woo receives a call from a distressed Boram, who can't comprehend why he is allowing them to falsely accuse him. He simply tells her it's finished and ends the call. In the meantime, Hak-sung reaches the bus terminal, and when he believes he spots his son's visage on a stranger, memories of the night Taeyeon perished flood back. Following another altercation while defending fellow escapees, Taeyeon berated his father, claiming he fled to the south for selfish motives since he didn't do so when his mother was ill with tuberculosis. Hak-sung maintained he made the choice to offer his son a better future, but Taeyeon countered that menial labor and being treated poorly was far from an improved life for an intellectual. After urging his father to relish his life with only mathematics as his companion, Taeyeon attempted to return to the north by swimming but was fatally shot by border patrol. Back with Ji-woo, he covertly uses his mother's seal on the transfer documents while she sleeps. The following day, he presents the papers to Mr. Kim, who commends him for his decision. Meanwhile, Hak-sung hides in a motel as Gi-chul seeks him out to bring him to a television appearance. Hak-sung is taken aback when Boram calls to inform him of Ji-woo's transfer. That afternoon, the Pythagoras Award ceremony takes place. Ji-woo is about to leave the school when Boram unexpectedly shows up, swipes his belongings, and pulls him into the auditorium. Professor Oh initiates the ceremony with a speech about the newly validated theory, which is when Hak-sung chooses to interject, having hurried to the school after releasing his turtle into a river. Hak-sung displays his pen to confirm his identity, and Professor Oh welcomes him warmly, allowing him to address the audience. Following a jest about his role as a guard, Hak-sung admits he was Ji-woo's mathematics mentor and offers the printed thesis as evidence that he wasn't involved in the exam leak. He exposes Mr. Kim as the one who shared the test with his private students, leading to Mr. Kim's angry, disgraceful exit. Hak-sung then recounts some of his background. He defected from North Korea to pursue math studies, as his government exploited his work to create weapons. He wanted his mathematics expertise to aid in obtaining employment and attending reputable colleges, but such aspirations cost him his son's life. Despite Hak-sung's remorse for his actions, Ji-woo never judged him and remained committed to protecting his secret, even at the expense of his own future. Tearfully, Hak-sung apologizes and thanks Ji-woo for his unwavering faith. Moved by the heartfelt speech, Gi-chul, who has been eavesdropping, exits without mentioning the television interview. Nevertheless, he offers Hak-sung a lift outside. After discarding the phone Gi-chul had gifted him, Hak-sung is presented with a legal South Korean passport and tickets to leave town temporarily to avoid the niche, even though this may result in Gi-chul's termination. Later, Gi-chul visits Ji-woo to deliver Hak-sung's parting gift, the iconic pen in the original draft of his thesis. 3 years after, Ji-woo and his college classmates toured the esteemed Oberwolfach Research Institute for Mathematics, where Hak-sung now works. Ji-woo surprises him with strawberry milk and a warm embrace before engaging in an extensive discussion about mathematics. Together, they continue to explore the fascinating world of math, fueled by their shared passion and the deep bond that unites them. Their journey, which began with adversity and trials, has led them both to fulfilling lives in the field they love, and they continue to support each other as they push the boundaries of mathematical knowledge. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.